Hey, what's up? Hello, everyone. Welcome into Fantasy Filmball, the show where we turn movies into sports and sports into something we don't talk about here. My name is Matt.
My name is Dyl, and we are back for the final time to recap our 2023 season of Filmball. Let's get into our final placements from last season. Let's start off at our number 6 spot with 2,733 points. Had one Best Picture nominee, Past Lives. Austin, that was you. How did you feel about your season this year? L.
Uh, this was not my year. I mean, I did say at the draft, I just wanted to get one Best Picture nominee, and that's what I got. The one that barely got into Best Picture, even. So I'll do better
Hey, it
next
still
year.
got in. That's what counts.
Exactly.
And then coming up in 5th place, we got Brother Bro. How are you feeling? End of this, you ended up with one Best Picture nominee with The Holdovers. How are you feeling about your season?
My track record with this is it's not the best, but it was a fun time. And I don't know, I got the holdovers. Spider-Verse didn't work out. Did not work out.
Too bad, man.
Arnaud, you in our 4th slot with 4,172 points. How'd you feel about your draft overall?
Wait, I thought I won.
Ah,
Didn't John say that last time that we were handing over the win to me for the
I think so.
for the
That
diss
is
track?
true.
That's
Right?
true, yeah.
You win
I
the
thought we were
honorary game.
celebrating here. Yeah,
Good job,
whatever.
man.
I need a drink anyways. I'm frankly surprised that with a team of Anatomy and Poor Things that I'm in 4th place, but like you look what was above and it just happened to be the right kind of combination of things. I'm happy my team took me this far, but I'm a little bit like bamboozled by how weirdly low I think I am in the ranking. I still got bumped up one spot from last year, but I need to do better, man.
Speaking of needing to do better, I took the L, tumbling from 2 back-to-back wins down to 3rd place, 4,432 points, with John just taking over me at the very last minute with that Oppenheimer sweep. You guys said that I gave over the win this year when I didn't take Oppenheimer back in our draft all the way back in August. I should have listened. I should have taken Oppenheimer. I should have not tried to be different. Here we are, 3rd place. But I mean, John, you're in 2nd place. You won it rightfully with Oppenheimer absolutely trouncing the competition, becoming the highest scoring film that we've ever had in this game. How are you feeling about your season?
Yeah, I mean, I guess good. I didn't expect to be second. I think it speaks, and maybe this is just my pessimistic self. I think it speaks to how ass I am at this. The fact that I got Oppenheimer. You just said it scored the most points ever. And I was like juggling 2nd and 3rd. I took a lot of risks besides Oppenheimer. Didn't pay off, but thank you, Oppie. Back-to-back seconds. That's cool.
And in 1st place, Dylan, you get your first win. Congratulations. You got the crown this time. How are you feeling with 3 Best Picture nominees?
My name's Dyl, Duke of Filmball. This is my championship. I get to have fun with this tonight, so I don't really know
Oh,
what
no.
else there really
Looks
is.
used.
Like you said, it's been a while. I fumbled so many 1st-round picks in a row. You could say I did that again this year with Killers of the Flower Moon, not taking Poor Things. When I said in the video, this is the film that I feel confident about, but this is too early to take it. But Zone of Interest came through for me. May December also worked out for me in round 3 when I thought that was going to be a giant whiff. So the biggest thing that winning this year tells me is I have no clue what to take 1st overall next year.
You look
Thank
back at our initial draft and like Dylan, you were just getting screwed over left and right by like people taking the picks you wanted. In the end, the picks you didn't want actually drove you to victory.
A team of misfits. I mean, I really wanted Ferrari and didn't get it. So May December came with me. I mean, I did want American Fiction, but I picked it a little earlier than I would have picked it because I think the 2 things I wanted before it went right before it. And I was like, oh, I guess let's do American Fiction now. And then that ended up being the 8th highest scoring film in the game. So hopefully next year, to continue my streak after All Quiet, American Fiction can find whatever that random other Best Picture nominee that no one's expecting in August that ends up happening in February. No clue what that will be, but hopefully it's on my team.
This year was really predictable. In our drafting order, 9 out of the 10 Best Picture nominations were gone by pick 15. We were all pretty bang on, except for American Fiction back in August. What are some of the biggest lessons you guys learned from this year's Oscar race?
I'm never taking a musical that comes out after the festivals again. Whoever wants
Yeah.
Wicked next year, you can have it.
Are those December movies dead? Like, it didn't happen with The Iron Claw, it didn't happen with Color Purple.
Nightmare
that
Alley,
just like a
it
thing of
happened.
past?
it's weird that Nightmare Alley happened, but
It barely
did.
happened, but yeah.
Barely happened, but
Mhm. Avatar happened.
I mean, kind of obvious, but don't assume an animated film is getting a Best Picture nomination, let alone winning animation. Those specialized films, keep them for later.
People really kind of dipped on Spider-Verse. Like I remember it was Film Twitter's favorite movie ever, like ever. And then I did a poll, and this wasn't that far through the year. I think it was after Barbenheimer, and it was like, what's the best movie this year? And it's just your opinion. It's not what's winning Best Picture. And Spider-Verse was behind Barbie and Oppenheimer. And so it was kind of a quick thing that people got over. And I thought like, oh, that's not Everything Ever All at Once. People were obsessed with that the whole year. Spider-Verse was much more short-lived. So that's the kind of thing that's hard for me to predict, is how long a movie's momentum is going to sustain.
Spider-Verse was like the toy that people just threw away within like.
It's hard when you don't have a lot. Like I think recognizing it as RRR, and by that I mean a movie that people like, but it just can't get a lot of nominations, is important. And if Spider-Verse were live action and it could lock in some kind of acting nomination or something, then it would have been more talked about, but it just can't lock in anything, and so it just doesn't go anywhere.
If anything, this year's RRR was Godzilla -1, I guess.
That's true.
Yeah, Godzilla -1 was
the foreign film that doesn't do any festivals, that comes out of nowhere, that has passion, and that can only get nominated and ultimately win one kind of weird niche specialized category at the Oscars.
This year really proved how international the Academy's become, because even beyond Poor Things, like Boy and the Heron winning over Spider-Verse, Anatomy of a Fall winning screenplay. Looking at my second round pick, I was between Color Purple and Zone of Interest, and I thought there's no way the Academy goes for Zone of Interest. It's like too art house and European, but that's what the Academy likes now, and I think that's what we have to consider moving forward.
It's absolutely insane how much they lined up with the BAFTAs this year, and how the year before this, everyone wanted to. I mean, not everyone was saying like BAFTAs do not matter anymore. It's all over. But it really just came down to the BAFTAs had a preference for All Quiet over Everything Ever All at Once, and like those two movies determined like all of the wins.
Yeah, so, it's just like a small, subtle shift where, like, of course the BAFTAs weren't going to love Everything Ever All at Once. That doesn't mean we should throw out the BAFTAs for the rest of eternity. But this is a curse that I think we have as Oscar predictors. We always want to react to the most recent data we have.
I always fall into this trap. Like me switching to Lily Gladstone after trying to be strong on Emma Stone. Like I'm so weak when it comes to what just happened. And also,
I saw that in your video too. You were like, I want to do Emma Stone. And then you let Matt and your brother just talk you into Lily Gladstone. It was, oh man, it was painful.
Yeah, I don't have a spine.
Next year.
But I mean, it remains to be true that at the BAFTAs, the international films that are celebrated do well at the Oscars. So now that the Golden Globes are international, it feels like their nominations and the BAFTAs are very predictive of what will do well. I mean, Anatomy of a Fall winning screenplay at the Globes, for that to like carry all the way into the Oscars was
an early season win where I was like trying to tell myself it's not happening. And I was looking at stats, looking at like everything is like this few of the Golden Globe screenplay winners actually goes on to win the Oscar. It's not happening. And then the more and more it kept rolling, I was like, oh my God, why is this happening? It doesn't feel right. But I'm glad this is the world we live in.
To quickly talk about like the top 10 films, an interesting thing, I'm not going to go through what the top 10 films are this year because it just lines up with Best Picture. And I think this is the first time in our game that we've ever had this happen, where the top 10 films are all just Best Picture nominees. Because last year we had Babylon come into the top 10 at number 9, while Triangle of Sadness was outside the top 10 at number 13. And back in 2021, Lost Daughter was in the top 10 over Nightmare Alley. So this is the first year where the top 10 is just Best Picture. As much as those films just dominated the season, and it was cool to watch them all dominate the season, it ended up being a little bit boring because by the end we were like, okay, we know how this is all working out right now. And there wasn't much variety this season in terms of major scores. Normally we have like 25 to 30 films that hit around 200 points. This year we only had 21 films meet that mark. What do you guys think was the reason this year was just so samey all around, that everyone just piled on the same films? Was it that there wasn't a lot of depth in the year, or were those films really just that good?
I think it's a mix of both, where the depth may have been lacking, because if you ask most people, they would say May December's number 11 in Best Picture, but they'll argue what was 12, what was 13, what was 14. But then you also go to bodies like Golden Globes that would normally go for something like Color Purple to give it more points, or PGA, which would normally go to some more populist films, going for Zone, going for Anatomy. Those films get more points in the games from spots you wouldn't expect them to get. So then it makes, like you said, the top films become even more top heavy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm just like thinking back to my picks. I felt like are representative of the lack of depth. Like my team, you just look at my team, and that is representative of why that happened. I have Oppenheimer, and then it was like Saltburn. I took Naiad. Like Next Goal Wins was there, and it's just like this. These were just this cannot happen. I mean, some people were arguing if Naiad was actually number 11, an argument that I just refuse to absolutely engage in. But like there is a case. There is a case for a Naiad that was actually the number 11, which makes me sick to my stomach. But that does speak to the depth. I do agree with you, Dylan. Like the PGA is going for Anatomy and Zone. I don't know if I can predict something like that happening like this year.
That was
That was
insane.
just that like yeah, that's insane. That's insane.
I think you had a lot of contenders just failing to take off too. Like we were the whole year, we were like the Iron Claw. This is one of the sneaker contenders. This is one of them. I was saying Wonka. Oh, this is going to be a big budget. It's going to make bank at the box office. It's prime for Golden Globes. Did nothing awards wise, even though it was fairly well reviewed and did well at the box office. Origin. That was just like a non-starter.
I don't know, man. I think Naiad could have gotten a Best Picture nomination if they just sent out more novelty towels.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's right.
That's what they were missing. So that's going to bring us very close to the end of this video. But before we go, next year, we do have some changes to the game. We are going to be doing less of these waiver videos to make them a little bit more impactful. And of course, we have some big contenders that are going to be seen by draft time. We've all seen Dune already, and Sing Sing, we're all going to know what that movie is before we have a chance to draft next time. And I want to thank all our players for coming on these calls and just chatting movies. It's always a blast talking to you guys. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And as always, my name is Matt.
My name's Dyl, and this is Fantasy Filmball.